Everyone, just a very quick one. I just want to quickly take you through the neuroscience of breathing. It's going to be a very brief one. Thank you for joining. So how does our brain get affected by breathing? And that is just what I'm going to run you through right now. So what happens when we take a breath? Is it a beneficial thing and is it a bad thing for us? So let me just cut it short that way. It's a very great thing for our brain. When we take a bath, we're helping the brain to heal, we're helping the brain to maintain its function. First, we are regulating the circadian rhythm, and also we try to set the clock to the right time of the day. For example, when I wake up in the morning and I'm taking my bath, I'm alerting the body for what the day's work is aimed for. That way, we're also bringing down the stress hormone, which is cortisol. It calms down by the time you have that warm bath. I'm also going to talk about whether a warm bath is better or a cold bath. It also helps with mood mobilization, and this is very consistent with serotonin support. When we take a bath, it activates the release of serotonin, and then this will help our mood in the morning, getting our mood up high for the day's work. Social recognition, bathing also helps us to get that sense of feel good, and this somewhat enhances confidence level and also our social interaction with people. So a Japanese study once revealed that when we have this hot bath daily, it reduces the risk of depression by 30%. So let me link this to most remote workers. There is an association between remote work and depression. But I want to connect this bathing with it. Most people who work remotely don't get to go out in the morning. They're just like, I'm back later in the day. And this also contributes to that depressive status that they get to set in as a result of the remote work that they're doing. So know that when you take your break in the morning, you're also reducing your risk for depression. So try to take your bath in the morning. 10 minutes bath can improve the sleep quality that we have and also help us to reduce anxiety symptoms. So when we have our bath every morning, maybe within 10 minutes, or even some people have it in a shorter time to that, it helps us to reduce the risk of anxiety and also help us to improve our sleep quality. So I'll go deeper into that part of sleep quality in the coming slides. So why does our brain get activated well at this period? For example, one of the key times that I am able to have some very deep thought is when I'm on the shower. Sometimes some ideas flow and then you just rush out of the bedroom, you quickly write it down. And I think there's a couple of discoveries that came out of the bedroom, and this is why we need to talk about this. So in the bedroom or when you're taking your shower, sometimes try to keep focus. Some ideas flow, some interactions, your interaction with yourself, and you're able to get more detailed, or even things that you've been trying to solve for a while. There, sometimes you get to get some new ideas and novel things going. And this is because there is a surge of dopamine. You become more proactive, more creative under the shower. There's an increase in dopamine level. There is this dream mode center that the brain gets to enter. And there is inner critic at this time. For example, you get to think about some of the things that sometimes, even if you had a dream, those are the time you recall them. I don't know if you're familiar with that. This alpha wave is also activated, and this is more into relaxing into a genius state, and that's why the novelty or the discovery or your ability to reason very deep at this time is usually very powerful. These two things majorly, the ability to relax into a genius state and also that inner critic that goes quiet. So this time the interaction is more personal, coupled with the fact that there is usually no distraction from anyone. It's just you're showering and you're seeing things the way you should see them. There are 72% of people who got breakthroughs while they were in the shower. As I mentioned, a lot of discoveries came from the shower. I hope you remember the Eureka. So let's go to one of the reasons why showering it contributes to brain health. One of it is this part of temperature. When we shower with warm water, our brain chemistry changes, and because there is change in the chemicals or the level of those chemicals that are working in synchrony in the brain, then some behavioral response will follow. One of it is this: when we bathe with warm water, usually we set our water to like 35, 40 degrees, which is more like the internal body temperature. When we bathe, we try to increase the core body temperature. The fact that our body temperature is increasing at this time will make cortisol level to come down, setting us into that relaxed mode. It will increase serotonin level. Two major chemicals. Cortisol level goes down, serotonin level starts increasing, setting us ready for the day job. And sometimes we also are able to calm our fears because the level of norepinephrine is maintained and brought down to a good level that is required for maintenance and of confidence. But in the case of cold water, I don't like cold water actually. When we use cold water to bathe, it has its own advantage, but sometimes it could also be disadvantages because you become very much alert. There is increase in the alert hormone. There is also more of dopamine if you bathe with cold water, and you also boost your motivation. Although at that instance, because you have bathed with cold water, there's usually another issue with that. Because you bathe with cold water and your dopamine level is skyrocketed, you're so energetic, you want to get out there and you want to. So at some point, after some time, it may get to start depressing, and that may be the time that you are getting into the day work. And sometimes it may be leading to some sort of sleepiness. So that's for another day. So when we also use cold water, it activates this fight-flight mode because there is a trigger of alertness. The norepinephrine level is increased. There is surcharge of focus and energy. And because there is high level of dopamine, that alertness is heightened, and then you're ready for the day job when you bathe with cold water. I remember my mom used to tell me, when there is cold, you combat cold with cold water. But I got to a part in my life that I know that I don't dare combat cold with cold water. So sometimes I think it's better to use something a bit warm water, just to balance it in the morning, just to get your body ready for the day. So the progression of the increase in the hormone will be normal, not just you striking it and then maybe later in the day you get tired. So why is it that when we use warm water, there is a better brain function? One of the reasons is because of the vasodilation effect. The blood vessels under our skin increases flow of oxygen. It becomes dilated, and there is increase in the flow of oxygen within the blood vessels, and is able to permeates the brain, and so we have enough oxygen in the brain. And when there is enough oxygen reaching the brain, you know that there is enough energy being supplied to the brain, and the brain is more active. Aside that, it also helps to clear out waste. There is easy and better waste removal, which also help the brain. The case of clearing out some tau proteins and also beta amyloid protein. The case of some neurodevelopmental disorders like Alzheimer. Neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer. The improvement in the blood flow to the brain also help to enhance decision making because there is easy flow of blood to the brain. The nerve connections are very apt, and so when it maintains the long-term potentiation and sustains that firing that is required to make some executive decisions and take some executive function. So thereby it enhance our mood, give us better focus, and reduce brain fog. So there is less of confusion. So overall, I hope this slide is able to tell you or convince you about using more of warm water rather than cold water. Now, when it comes to sleep quality, I said I was going to talk more about it the other time. So when we bathe with warm water, we raise the core temperature in the body, as I mentioned earlier. This will compensate for the external environment. So let me put it this way. When the internal body temperature is raised, then the body tries to cool it down. Cooling itself down, it's taking heat, it's releasing heat to the environment, it's cooling down itself. And when the temperature of the body is dropping, it signals to the brain to switch to the sleep mode, because that is the way the circadian rhythm normally operates. And when the sleep switch is activated, then you get to sleep. And you sleep well. So most times researchers advise to do some warm bathing if you're having difficulty sleeping, like 90 minutes before bedtime, because the mechanism is very unique. It helps calm the body down, and then the moment temperature is coming down, is dropping, the pineal gland is signaled, and then you get to start closing your eyes within that 90 minutes. So helps faster, 10 to 15 minutes faster sleep onset with evening bath. I sometimes try it, and it does a lot. And improving sleep quality by 15%. That has also been confirmed. Okay, so when there are certain bath routines that helps, and I think those are some of the things that I'll be talking about in like 2-3 slides. But before we go there, how do bathing really help us to improve our brain health? One, it helps to break chronic stress. So if you've gone through a very stressful day, the best to do is to get under the shower and take some warm bath. This will help to prevent the shrinkage of our hippocampus, because the hippocampus is helping us to maintain memory, and it's helping us to develop new memories. It's all very important that we maintain it. So when you take warm bath, it stops or prevents the shrinkage of the hippocampus as a result of the stress that we had during the day, cumulative or chronic stress that we've had. Sleep deprivation, sometimes when you have better sleep, you have an improved lymphatic system. I have I think a video I made about the lymphatic system and how it helps to get the brain waste settled, and this will help with brain health and also reduce the predisposition to neurodegeneration. So when we have better sleep and you do good bath, you are also helping your brain to remove waste, and this will help continuous sleep health. Neuroinflammation can also be reduced because of hydrotherapy. It also helps to break some inflammatory markers that are associated with cognitive decline and depression. When it comes to cognitive decline, when there is increased level of blood circulation as a result of warm bed, with increased flow of oxygen to the brain, increased flow of essential nutrients, there is maintenance of neuroplasticity, and this is required for neurocognition to be maintained. So as I mentioned earlier, there are certain routines that could help improve the brain health as a result of bed. So your bed has a lot to do with your brain. Your bed, maybe in the morning with warm or cold water. Let's start with cold water. It will help you increase your alertness. If you're the type that bathe with cold water, you will be more focused and you're energized. If you want those three things in the morning, get in for 2 or 3 minutes cold shower. For stress relief, get in for like 15 to 20 minutes warm bath just beyond that water. It will cool down the nerves, and this it does by increasing the level of synthesis of some of these neurochemicals that then helps to maintain those downstream behavioral response. It also helps with calming our nervous system, which will then help us with an improved reasoning because it maintains the long-term potentiation and signal transduction that is required for the formation of memory. It helps us with better executive performance and also better reasoning. Sleep preparation for people who don't easily get to sleep after the day has gone. When you take some warm bath 90 minutes before the actual time you want to go to bed, it will stimulate the release of melatonin, which is the sleeping hormone, and this will help to activate your pineal gland, and then you get to go into some deep sleep. And during sleep, you help the brain to recover from some of its chronic stress response that it's trying to fight, and also the emptying of those waste products through the lymphatic system. So every daily bath you take isn't just an hygiene, is a way that to help the brain to optimize itself. So aside waiting for hygiene, it also helps the brain to optimize itself. So I guess that's all for now. So for remote workers that don't like to take your bath in the morning, just know that it has a lot advantage for you if you take your bath in the morning. So you can start that routine. At least if you're the type that don't like to do it almost every day of the week, start with 3 days in the week, try to bathe in the morning, and look at the changes and see how best you can do. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I don't know, anything, comment, and thank you. Bye.